there's a lot of ways to decorate your raft. Hi friends, and welcome back to Raft. As you may have guessed, I've been playing a lot of Raft recently, and I've fallen in love with trying to make the most beautiful rafts I can while simultaneously making them functional. And today, this has led me to some designs for beds, storage rooms, and general layouts that I'd love to share with you all. Of course, this is all completely vanilla, so you don't need any mods to do anything I'll show you, so don't worry about needing to have certain things installed and all of that fun stuff. But without further ado, let's get into some useful raft decoration tips. So in our little demonstration world, we've got a lovely little gallery full of bedroom situations and storage situations. So we're going to go through beds first, then storage, and then I'm going to show you some full rooms that I've designed so that you can get an idea of how to do things creatively in an actual rafting scenario. So let's go ahead and start with our beds. Of course, you have your generic bed that you have plopped against a wall with 2 lanterns. This is just the baseline so that you understand what most people are going to do and what it usually looks like. It's very basic, not a lot to it, but it is very functional. Of course, there are the variants of bed in this game, but I've opted to work with the fancy bed simply because I think it looks the best, and if you're late game and looking seriously into decoration, you're probably well set to make a ton of large beds like this. Anyways, let's move on to the actual decoration stuff. So you can see we've got a curtain bed. Of course, this one is a little bit overkill with full curtains. Personally, you could also build like a little booth and then just have one curtain on the side. But this just feels a little bit more sheltered. It's nice and comfy and everything. And of course, you can open and close these all as you go. And that's all lovely. I've opted for a black and white color scheme because I like it. Take a guess. But yeah. So then we move on to a raised bed. The raised bed is also nice because it gives your raft a little bit more dimension. I would recommend this with a higher ceiling, of course, because it's a bit cramped if you try it with just the too tall ceiling. But of course, it's a little bit more to your room, and it can be used in some pretty cool scenarios, which we'll have to show off later, of course. Then we have a room that you'll actually need to have a platform underneath for. So this one needs to be at least 1/2 wall tall. And that's because of this. Now you may have seen this kind of table styling down in one of my other videos before, but this also allows us to make a pretty cool floor. And the reason I really like this is because it's very much an accent piece when you're at this level. There are the rugs in the game, but they're all either very large or very frayed or circular. And there's no option to do anything like this where there's a lot of intricate design work going. So I think this is a nice happy medium, and it gives it a little pop of color especially. So I just think that's a cool option that a lot of people don't explore. And then our final bed area is of course a kind of master canopy bed. So this actually uses full building material, so you don't have to worry about the hassle associated with the curtains over there. But you can of course use the triangles and pillars to make yourself a nice little sheltered bed area. And of course this is entirely fully functional, whatnot, but it also looks pretty cool. So then you just get up and you're good to go for the day. It's also just a lovely little another just piece of dimension, because if we run all the way back to the beginning, any of these looks a little bit better than this, in my opinion. There are ways to make this look nice, of course, but just adding in a little bit extra around the bed itself always helps. And then let's move along to some storage rooms. So I didn't bother making a generic storage room, quote unquote, because I really don't think there is one. I think everyone has their own system for storage, and all of them are hugely unique, so I felt kind of wrong about trying to make one that I thought most players did. But I'm going to show you some ones that I think are pretty cool and work really well in both an aesthetic and functional sense. So, of course we have this ultra compact storage. You can fit, of course, 4 on either side, so this is 8 right here, and then if you have 3 cells across, obviously that's 24, but you can make this as wide or as short as you want it to be. I like to color code my chests because it's just easier and it looks cool, but you'll also notice that it's a bit uneven usually because it's actually very hard to place chests evenly on the wall, I've learned. So if you can do that, kudos to you. That this is just a great baseline design worth noting. But you can also, of course, do the same thing with doors. This is the exact same layout, but hidden behind doors, so if you want it to be a little bit cleaner on the outside of your raft, that's an option. However, there is something to note about this. Using doors means that it will auto-select the door first before the chest, so you really gotta get in close to open the chest that you want. Otherwise, you'll just end up doing a lot of this, so you gotta really get in there if you want to open your chest. So that's just something to keep in mind if you want to go with that option. This, however, is my personal favorite. What this is a bunch of large tables, actually specifically this style of dinner table up here, and you can place these on walls. So if you place down as many chests as you want, of course, again, you can make this as wide or short as you want it to be, with a table directly on top of them, like pretty much as soon as it turns green, you know, when you're building, then you can just keep stacking them up. And you can fit 3 in a like normal wall height area, but then on top of that, one of the added bonuses of this particular design is that it's actually fully functional as a farm on top. So you can make this really clean looking storage area and then put all of your crops right on top, and it's all in one little area, it's all nicely confined and super accessible. And this is, again, completely functional. So personally, this is my favorite because I don't think it looks quite as cluttered as these do with the ropes hanging off of the side, you know? Because these are technically placed on the tables. So they're just pretty cool. Like, I really like this design. But if you're looking for something even more aesthetic, there are options like this kind of cabinet that you can go with. So this is something you'd see maybe in a bedroom or something like that if you didn't like the shelving available and you didn't want to build like a full closet. This is like another option where you can of course make a little shade and then open and close that as you like. And of course, if you go ahead and look in here, like, you can line all of this with storage to your heart's content. But I think just having a little window and a little confined space for it, putting it all in a nice little area, makes it look so cute. Like, this just looks nice, you know? But if you wanted to take it one step further, we can make a little kitchen setup. We've got like a little stove using the same concept as we've got up top up there, with a shelf, then a curtain, and a window, making this kind of like stove looking thing, and a red carpet on top for our burner, of course. And then we've got a large storage in its own little cabinet with a curtain to make a refrigerator. So of course this is obviously designed for a kitchen type aesthetic, but it's certainly a great way to add in some aesthetic storage. It's not nearly as functional as any of our other designs, but if you're purely going for something that will work but also looks nice, here you go. And as promised, I have a few room layouts to show you as well. So this is our pretty basic bedroom design. This is using the raised bed platform that we talked about earlier, with a little bit of half walls and a curved roof to give it a bit more structure. Then we've got a few windows alternating with some curtains to add it a bit more shape but not force it out a whole ton, and of course adding in paint to give it that real pop from the back. And one of the important things to note is you can put triangles going opposite directions in the same square. This is useful for making more curved type shapes inside. And it also, again, makes that nice, distinct shape that we can see from way back here. So you could take this a lot further and make some really cool rooms with this kind of design, but this is just a basic layout to show you, hey, this is the way you can use this. Next up, we have the kitchen. Now, full credit for this style of kitchen goes to user Dark Knight on Reddit, because frankly, they did an amazing job, and I can't imagine ever building something as amazing as this. And there's a few things that I thought were really creative that I want to point out to you. So first up, we've got the long cabinet counter. So you can make yourself a long cabinet by using 4 of the long style cabinets. So of course you've got these cupboards, you've got 3 styles of them. The long one, just stacked on top of each other, creates this kind of shape, and just place another one next to it. You've got this nice little bar. So I thought that was super creative. Of course you can place everything you might want on top of that, so that's also great. And then the other major feature was the cabinets. So of course the small cabinets can be placed on walls directly, but the larger cabinets up here cannot. So what they did is they sneakily hid a few shelves under there, and you can actually place the cabinets directly on the shelves, and for whatever reason that works. So I just thought it was a super cool way to add in a tiny bit of subtle storage, while also just making this look super functional as a kitchen itself. Like, that's just ridiculously cool, and I'm so envious of people who can create stuff like this. And I want to do a little bit of a dramatic reveal for this next one, because it's a bedroom that I've designed that I think will fit the gamer aesthetic quite well. So Raft is obviously a bit more prone to the rustic, rural vibe, and I thought creating something that looked a bit more modern and clean would be a real challenge, and it was. So I hope that you think I pulled it off. And that uses our little sunken floor area with tables to give it this real like neon pop of cyan. I went with blue because blue is my favorite color, but of course you could do this with like reds or oranges or really any kind of vibrant color. Like the super saturated purple paint that exists in this game would also probably work super well. Anyways, this is just a way to use that sunken floor to add really nice colors, and then of course we went with a grayscale and neon blue aesthetic for this, and we also made some custom rugs, combining a ton of rugs together, of course, with some white furniture and then neon blue highlights everywhere. So I hope you'll agree with me that this looks pretty modern and pretty clean. There's no way to fix the little like wood painting gaps, but whatever, that's just Raft and I love it anyways. So I thought this was cool and I wanted to show you guys, so here you go. And last but certainly not least, I have a little bathroom to show you guys. So I think bathrooms aren't something that get a lot of love in Raft because they're pretty hard to design, given the only things we really have are the outhouse and of course the bathtub. The bathtub is one of my favorite items in the game, but alone it doesn't do too much. But if we go ahead and use this room as a whole, what we've done is given it some accents using our half-wall friends, because I make everything out of half-walls apparently, and also added in fitting decor. So we can use flags as little curtains. Adding in plants, of course, makes everything feel real alive. We've got a little towel cabinet back here. Like, this just feels like a homey little bathroom. Again, of course, we need a bath mat for our bathtub, and adding in more custom rugs, just slapping a few other rugs together and painting them different colors, makes your room feel unique and alive, and just adds in more life to everything, you know? It looks cool. This is a bathroom that I would love. It's infinitely better than any bathroom that I will ever own in my life. So take that as you will. And that is all of the decoration tips I have for you today. I still have a lot of decoration ideas planned, so be sure to stick around if you're interested in seeing any of those. But be sure to let me know down in the comments which one of today's tips was your favorite. Obviously, I'm partial to the compact storage and garden hybrid, but the gamer bedroom has got to be a close second. Also, on a more back-end side of things, I've really been working to improve the audio quality in my videos, so please let me know if you think today's video sounds any better or worse than previous videos. I mostly think I've been listening too much to my own voice to really tell at this point, so I'd actually really appreciate your feedback. Anyways, that's it for me for now. I hope you enjoyed. Please consider leaving a like if you did, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. It really helps me out. I hope to see you all again soon, but until then, have a great day.